Welcome back to Men on Trek, Season 3, Episode 2. Return of the Archons.
Episode 3?
Yeah. Season 3, Episode 2.
Episode 2.
For us.
I thought we did 2 reduxes for Season 1.
Those aren't Season 3s. Those are reduxes.
Oh, I gotcha.
I didn't count them that way.
Yeah, see, that's why he's the Admiral. I just need to run my ship. You stay away from this whole...
let him worry about the paper,
That's
man.
right.
Let me run the starbase.
I'll let you run the starbase. You got your own private transporter.
So, shout out to, this is a fan request. Shout out to Nova Omega, Return of the Archons. This one's for you.
Mm-hmm.
Originally aired on February 9th, 1967, Season 1, Episode 21.
Season 1.
So tell me, gentlemen, are you of the body?
You have the body.
You know, when they first said it, or the response of the individuals in the show brings me back to Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yeah.
When they go,
Yeah, it's got that vibe, very much so.
It's got that vibe, man. Got that vibe.
Another Roddenberry anti-utopian sort of story about how, you know, if you're...
Utopia's bad?
Yeah.
Well, depending on how you get there.
Well, that's the funny thing. So many people, these Roddenberrians, who believe in Star Trek was the utopia, and Roddenberry believed in utopia. All his writing says utopia is bad.
No,
bad.
His writing says how you get there matters. I think there's a difference between him believing it could be done, and a lot of these stories are calling out there's ways to get there that are not good. That's what I get out.
Does it matter if it's utopia?
It's not, but it's not true utopia.
So you didn't get there.
The ends don't justify the
So
means.
there is no true utopia. And utopia means what? Nowhere.
Yeah.
It almost seems like Roddenberry doesn't even really want you to try.
I think the opposite. I think he is telling us that there's a nobility in the struggle.
Yeah, the journey's worth it.
Yeah,
The attempt is
you
worth
should
it.
try.
Yeah.
You should always try to better yourself. You should always try to better society.
But realize you will fail.
Realize you will fail.
Realize perfection is probably not achievable.
It's not achievable.
And the plan B is going to require a second ship on the scene to fix.
Absolutely.
Probably a application
Second
of
ship
phases.
theory.
Second ship theory. The Daystrom theory.
The Daystrom theory is proven. So, Return of the Archons. Episode opens up. We have our good man Sulu. And
Well, let's not skip the animation of the
this is
ship.
true. This is true.
The golf clap for the Paramount in-house special effects.
Yeah.
Whoever you guys are, kudos.
Yeah.
Kudos.
Yeah. This time in particularly good shot of the Enterprise coming in. Had to watch it a couple times. Looks amazing. And even animated the portholes where you see hallway and doors, and the only thing they didn't do is put people in the hallway.
I like how they animated the ship but used the same star feel. And I think I said this before in another episode.
Yeah.
You get the exact same feel you had on the original show without it feeling too different, but the ship looks so much better as it zooms by.
Yes. Yeah. And this orbit shot is just incredible.
And the colors on the warp nacelles were just like, man,
everything was popping,
really
beautiful.
nice.
You know, to me, I have like 3 buckets when it comes to like visual effects and what makes me feel a certain way. So like, let's talk about the original series special effects. Like I never really believed that I was seeing anything that was photorealistic. I knew I was seeing a model even when I was a kid. Like it's like Space 1999 with the Eagles and stuff like that. You couldn't see the wires, but you knew it was kind of a model. Okay,
Right.
Mm-hmm. It would suspend disbelief in me, but it was cool. I was like good with it. You know, seeing Star Wars and the X-Wings and everything like that, that was photorealistic to me. Like
that was more immersive.
Yeah, more immersive. And there's the second bucket is what we're seeing in these remasters, which is like the ship itself is so good that you forget that it's CGI or kind of a model.
And the background, the detail on the planets are just off the chain.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just so good.
They really.
And then the last bucket is like CGI that's so good that you can't differentiate it at all. You know, and I can't really think of anything that comes to mind, but you know, you don't realize it's a special effect. Okay, so that's that third bucket. What I prefer is that second bucket where it's like you kind of know that this is CGI, but it's so well done, and everything fits well enough. Like that's where my fanboy comes out. Like I love that stuff.
Well, it gives you appreciation because you knew a lot of work goes into it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Another example of that is like in Aliens, you know, where they're coming down with that drop ship.
Yeah.
And the missiles things open up.
Yeah.
And you know you can tell it's a model. Like that to me was like original Star Trek stuff. Like you're like, oh, that's a model. And yeah, it kind of looks cool. I would prefer what Paramount was doing in-house with this episode than what I was seeing like in Aliens with how they were using, you know, modeling.
Yeah.
So, but conversely, original Blade Runner, like those were models, but you loved them.
Original Star Wars was models.
You loved them, yeah.
Just later on they did it.
Original Star Wars was models, but you got a full-scale mock-up. So when you saw the smaller model, you had a callback in your mind to a full-scale ship.
True.
It didn't fly.
Right.
But there was a full. You walk up. The guy's walking. He's rubbing his hands along the side of the X-wing. It's a real.
Yeah.
That's where
vehicle.
That's where you get your immersion.
You know, I
can buy into it.
I can't value that comment high enough because it makes 1,000% sense now to me because it's like, why the heck did I love those original Star Wars X-wing Death Star attacks? Because like you said, they showed you the full life model beforehand, guys walking up, touching them. They were real to you, so they became real in your mind.
They were real to the people there. Rubbing on it, you saw it. And then when the little model, your mind makes the connection.
Well, that's what Abrams did that in that first remake of his Star Trek trilogy.
In the Star Trek reboot,
where they showed a starship on land being built.
Yeah, they showed you the Enterprise in the construction yard.
Yeah, not in orbit, but on the ground.
On the ground. Yeah.
And maybe that was an attempt to make it real or give it some scale or whatever. But you're right,
I think
that's
it.
it.
To give it scale, but
yeah.
All right, go ahead, Admiral. After we done diverged
back?
into we diverged into the gooiness of 3D animation.
But I'll tell you, they just didn't get enough credit. I mean, I don't think they got enough credit for the work that they did.
To do something that a lot of people would just look at as a tweak of old episodes, I agree. It deserves a lot more attention and appreciation.
Think about this. I've never heard anybody complaining about it, and maybe I'm not listening in the right channels to it. But whenever that other franchise went and back and tweaked things, people were like, "This is terrible."
Yes.
Well, but again,
that was story tweaks.
Totally different approach to how you do it. In these episodes, and this is outside of the improvement in the look and feel, what I love about this is they clearly were very careful to make the changes to give you the improvement without changing the spirit or the tone of the episode.
Right.
This was handled very delicately, very, very well. Whereas the other thing is very ham-fisted and like, what are you doing?
But those are story changes as well, and this is not story
I'm just strictly talking about visual. I'm talking about visual effects.
I wonder if
even the visual effects were the over the top in the other example.
I wonder if it has anything to do with. I wonder if Roddenberry was alive when they did these remasters, because the creator of the other series was alive when they did those changes. So I'm wondering, when it comes to
Roddenberry had long passed by the time they did that.
Yeah,
and that other creator sold his soul off to the corporation. So
let's stay here. Stay
Well, he
here.
said, that was his
That was
words.
me.
I know, no,
That was
but
his words, not mine.
I know, but I want to trek, not war. Let's stay here.
Okay. All right, Admiral. I'm just doing a juxtaposition.
Can we stay here, please?
Okay, go ahead with the episode.
My bad.
We'll be men on wars. We'll do that in a couple of years when we're 60s. But so the episode opens up. We got Sulu, and we find out it's crewman O'Neill on the run, wearing.
That emergency beam up took way.
Yeah, they let him down.
Emergency.
They let him
What
down.
was emergency about that?
Nobody.
If I call an emergency beam up, I wanted to go straight to
I guess.
transporter.
I want to be up on. I have as soon as you hear emergency beam, I want to be in the blender on up.
I want the C to come out when I materialize
That's right.
on the ship.
You shouldn't even have to say that. It should be a button you could push.
Absolutely.
Boop.
I guess.
Recall me now.
I guess Styles left the transporter room to get some lunch or something. Nobody was there.
Sulu says, "Captain, you gotta get us out of here right now." And there was a 5-minute scene that followed.
I know.
Well, that and Sulu didn't fight.
You know what? You need to go to the other universe and tell Styles to hand up his agonizer.
His agonizer. Your agonizer, Mr. Styles.
Oh, Mr. Spock.
I tried.
No.
Then that was remember what Spock did with it afterwards? He just
Dropped it.
dropped it.
You guys don't want to stay in one universe today, I see.
Yeah, we're all over.
But,
we're all over the place.
All right, so
Omega 3,
Beta 3.
Beta 3.
But we're not quite there yet.
Okay.
So the writers give you a really quick
History.
tease. Not the history yet. The tease you get is Sulu and O'Neill as they're running. Oh, we gotta get out of here. You know what they're capable of. You know, something's bad. It's really bad. And kind of what you know about Sulu as a character, the fact that he's kind of afraid. You know, there's some gravity to that. I had a little bit of an issue while Sulu was waiting for his 9-year emergency beam up. I had a little bit of an issue with. I was kind of looking for Sulu to put up a fight, and he just kind of stood there like, "Oh no!" He's pointing the stick at me, and they got him. And then it cuts to our beauty shot again.
Mm-hmm.
The Enterprise coming in, and you find out yes, they're arriving at Beta 3, looking for a ship called the Archon that disappeared over 100 years ago, or about 100 years ago.
That's Starfleet for you. Let's get a rescue ship out there right away.
That's why I don't blame Tracy doing what he did.
That's right.
They ain't coming to get you.
Tracy's going, let's see, what's the last time? Well, we haven't gone after the Archon, and it's been 100 years.
Yeah, so ain't nobody coming to rescue me. I'm going to burn people down. I'm surviving.
The premise of the cage was that they
Same
crashed
thing.
and nobody's
Same
around.
Big look, come on, Uhura, me and you.
So no, you're right. No, the cage where no man's gone before.
Yeah.
A ship disappeared here 70 years ago, and you know what it is?
They don't care.
Nobody
care.
nobody looks for you.
They don't care.
Nobody comes looking for you. They make a footnote. They make a footnote of your last known position, and when a ship pushes that way, they go, "Oh, by the way."
Isn't that why Daystrom said with his Duotronic 2 computer, Starfleet's throwing people's lives through the wind? They don't care. They're having wars. They're sending ships out.
We're invincible. Look what we've done. Your mighty starship.
No, there's got to be a footnote like, "Hey, you're pushing into a sector, and oh, by the way,
We
a
lost.
ship
But you know what?
disappeared."
These people have families. and
Not
everything.
anymore. They don't. It's been 100 years.
Do they even like notify them?
They probably
Like-
got a check cut.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, your son died. Your son died thousands of light
I'm
years
the
away. Here's his pension or something.
I'm the son of the captain of the Archon, and I'm like, where's my dad? They're like, don't know.
No, you're not the son because it's been 100 years.
right.
There's nobody around.
great
Yeah, but
grandson.
they had to be missing for 1 year first.
Yeah, but yeah, there's
And
just
they knew where they were going.
there's just a footnote that says you've pushed into an area where a ship disappeared. Since you're in the neighborhood, take a look around, see if you can find out what happened.
You guys really want to sign on the Starfleet? No, I don't know. I don't know because if you get lost, they don't care.
Somebody sent the Archon there. They knew where they were going, and they never came back. And somebody looked at a report and went,
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, Kirk, you're going to be out that way.
100 years.
Well,
Kirk wasn't even born.
Just drop by over there. Just drop by this planet.
See if you see any wreckage.
See if you see anything.
Yeah.
I wonder if every starship has they've got like a list of so it's a 5-year mission, but every once in a while they'll get something sent to them. They got to go to the inauguration of a president.
They get orders, yeah.
Yeah, they get orders and stuff. And it's like, I wonder if there's this other column on the spreadsheet that says, missing star.
No, that's just what I'm saying.
Ships.
Yeah,
There's got to be a footnote. When you push into a certain area, there's got to be a footnote that a ship disappeared in the area.
Yeah.
Right. So the captain's going to have to send in a report. We're going to quadrant, blah, 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 for whatever reason. And we're going to check this area. And they go, okay, all right, well, let's in quadrant so-and-so. Oh, while you're out there, we lost 5 starships. If you get a chance to run across a beacon, let us know.
Yeah.
Wasn't that an errand of mercy?
Yeah.
Wasn't that part of the premise was like, we've lost too many ships? Or what?
Aaron of Mercy was securing dilithium rights because the Klingon in competition with the Klingons.
But I thought there was an episode where they lost too many ships in that quadrant. They were trying to figure it out.
That was the Metrons, I believe. No, that was not the Metrons.
Case of Armageddon?
No, it wasn't Taste of Armageddon. They lost a ship there
They
too.
lost a ship there too.
They lost a ship there too, but no, that wasn't it.
No, that was it. Because the ambassador came because it was a very hot area because they lost the ship.
Well, yeah.
And they sent an ambassador
But
to smooth it out.
What Jim's talking about, though, there was a particular episode, and it's escaping me now.
No, I think it was Taste of Armageddon.
But no, Jim's talking about they lost multiple ships in a given area.
I think it was Taste of Armageddon.
Yeah, maybe. All right.
Say it again.
All right,
I think it was
Taste of Armageddon. All right. Get in the comments and look it up before I get to it. All right. So the Enterprise pulls in, and they're trying to determine the fate of the Archon. Sulu's been beamed up, and he wants to know who's of the body.
Yeah, you can just look at that creepy smile. You're like, what's wrong with Sulu? Are you of the body?
Man.
And did you sign into some cult while you were down there, Sulu? What's going on?
What's going on?
It's wonderful. They're the best people in the whole world.
Peace and love, unless you're not of the body.
And when Sulu didn't get a smile back, he goes, "You're not of the body."
All right. And they have to restrain Sulu.
And he throws their uniform. Did he have his uniform on?
He
threw something at him and said, "These are the uniforms.
The clothes are wrong
of the Archons. You're not."
Yeah, he said,
Archons.
these clothes are wrong. They don't dress like this. That's how they got found out. They were wearing the wrong period clothing.
Yeah.
Way off, actually. Sulu
Yeah,
looked like
they were
he was,
dressed in the Western clothing.
No, Sulu was wearing like colonial clothing.
Yeah, that's it.
And the people on the planet were more like, late 1800s. Yeah.
But see, that's a little detail that most times you miss.
Get you hung.
Yeah, as much as he was of the body, he made sure that he got the message that you guys put me in this situation with your mistake.
But think about that. You're beaming down to a planet, you're doing some investigation, and the person who's supposed to research it gives you the wrong clothes. Oh, if I got back to the ship, somebody would be getting an A-whipping.
Uh-huh. Well, he wanted to, even though he was of the body. Sulu fired up. He goes, "They're not. You don't dress like this."
Oh no, Sulu said it's 6 o'clock somewhere.
It's 6 o'clock somewhere.
I'm beating this guy down.
Yeah, it's time to purge, baby.
Yeah, if only he had hung on for a little while longer, he might have had a good time. But
yeah, better than most.
Yeah.
So
what does Kirk do? Since we know something has happened that's terrible, let's go down there.
Well, they lost a crew member because the guy with Sulu didn't.
O'Neill.
Lieutenant O'Neill.
Yeah, O'Neill didn't stand around like Sulu. He said, "No, I'm booking up out of here, man. I'm not waiting for." He looked at his watch and goes, "Hey, take this beam up. Taking too long, Sulu." I'm too like, "No, stand firm. He goes, "No dice." He took
O'Neill's
off.
like, "We got 5 minutes left on this emergency beam up. These cats are right in front of us with their
sticks,
with their staffs." So
got Gandalf and Saruman in front of me. I'm getting out of here.
And then it hits me, and I hadn't caught this in the episode when we watching it in the past. This is another kind of initially you thinking it's another one of those episodes where a ship violated the Prime Directive and influenced the society.
Yeah,
you kind of get that vibe.
Yeah,
and going forward, we'll get into it. But that was my thought when we were watching this part of it. Is like, okay, the Archon disappears 100 years ago. Now you got this like semi, late period society and people are acting weird? Is this another Starfleet interference episode?
Well, because there's so many of them.
Right.
Where a starship crashes or something.
Or they leave something behind.
They leave something behind.
Piece of the action.
They influence the culture. This is something completely different.
Well, that's one of the things one of the few things I liked about the new generation series was when Q said you're a virus. At least I don't know if he said it, but that's what I got is that like Starfleet kind of went out there ham-handedly and probably did a lot of damage to a lot of planets and a lot of cultures trying to follow the Prime Directive, but you can see, like you said, instances everywhere where it failed.
Yeah, one little error.
Even in this episode, Kirk says, I'm going to interpret the Prime Directive the way I want to.
No, he raises a good point about
Yeah.
it. He raises a good point about it.
Right.
No,
but
that was
non-interference
that was
is
his
non-interference.
justification to do what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
Well,
We'll get there.
when we get there, this is a Kirk theme, and you've already mentioned it. Taste of Armageddon. This is a recurring Kirk theme when he comes across a society that he deems out of whack.
Non-viable.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But Kirk, Spock, McCoy beam down with three
bully boys.
Three,
count them. One, two, three.
two, three red shirts.
And then one red shirt was mouthing off the whole episode.
Oh, he was talking too much. I wanted to sock that dude.
No,
Shut up, you're just a red shirt.
Leave my red shirts
You're
alone.
just here to be phasered.
Red shirts are people too.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
Out
So,
of control.
and they immediately run into what we all agree was the scariest guy in the episode.
Oh,
the guy, his name was Beelar. They do say his name, but Beelar walks up and
be gone.
Beelar walks up and he goes, kind of a New England thing going on. He goes, "Good day to you. Are you here for the festival?" And he's got the weirdest, creepiest, scariest smile there ever was.
Oh, that dude was awful.
And no, but kudos to the actor. The people on the planet are weird, and he's doing it. He's carrying it.
Oh yeah.
He's carrying
he within 30 seconds, you knew they were in trouble.
He's disturbing. Dude is disturbing.
It's a cross between Hannibal Lecter and a hand puppet. He was like,
yeah, he looked like a twisted Howdy Doody doll.
yeah.
I'd be like, look, beat me up, man.
Like, no, this is bad down here. Let's get out of here.
Send me down a phaser rifle. I'm about to blast this Beeloo, dude.
I remember. Well, we'll get there. But
So they beam down, and they're immediately questioned by Beelar, and other people are even looking at him like, "Hey, are you here for festival?" And they're not responding correctly. So, but the people are trying to give him, Beelar's trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. Are you from out of town?
Oh, the Beelar has no problem with them being slightly confused.
Yeah.
He's good with it.
Yeah.
He's like, you're probably as stupid as I am.
Yeah, he's like,
I don't care.
he's like, "You from out of town? You here for festival?" And they're just kind of like, yeah.
We just arrived.
Festival, yeah, we just got here. And Beelar's like, "Oh, no problem. You need a place to stay, and
Sleep it off.
Sleep it off." Yeah, the choice of words.
That's right. Yeah.
The choice of words is really powerful
Yeah,
because it's not just you need a place to stay while you're here for the festival. It's going to be off the hook tonight. you need some place to recover.
Yeah, right. Sleep it off.
Remember when we were kids, we'd always go, festival. One guy screaming before he jumped into a window. Door was open. Jumped through
but
the
as
plexiglass window.
Beelar's talking, some girl comes up.
The girl comes up, and
He's like,
and
isn't your daddy got places for them?
Yeah, he says, "Doesn't your daddy? Can't your daddy?" Which it turns out to be Rager. "Can't your father Rager put them up?" And she goes, "He most certainly can." And she's weird too. And the preamble is like, in 15 minutes,
it was like
everything's going to change.
2 minutes. He's like,
But-
the red hour.
Yeah, it's like, but it's almost the red hour. You may not have time to check in. So more red flags. I mean, I got creepy smile dude telling me I need to sleep it off, and red hour's coming. I'm kind of with you, Captain. I might have beamed up and be like, "We got to find O'Neill another way." I don't know. I don't know if I'm staying. But red hour is coming.
Red hour.
Whatever that means.
And Kirk figures out. They go, "Red hour's coming." Kirk's like, "That's about 6 o'clock."
Yeah, we know what time it is, but we don't know what it means.
Right.
Yeah.
But here, so they go. So they're ostensibly going to go find this girl's father and get a place to stay. And what I kind of picked up on here is Kirk and company are not doing a good enough job of trying to play it off. Kirk's just kind of being like, yeah, okay, whatever. He's kind of going along, but he's really not trying to sell it.
Yeah,
And
but
it
he
gets-
doesn't know how nutty this society
Right.
is.
Well,
Well, one of the things I think he says at some point, he goes, "You worry about that, we'll worry about this." And what I got from this Kirk was, and this episode was, he knows that he can handle anything, and he's gonna be polite. But there's one of his crew members down there, and the crew member that's up there isn't acting right, and he's not in the mood to play act too much. I got the same thing that you did, like there wasn't a lot of, like, he did kind of a half-hearted, hey brother, this that, and the other stuff. But he's like, even when the episode goes a little bit further, he's like, tell me about this, and he's like, I can't. He goes, you're gonna tell me. Like, he's not. He wasn't trying to say, well, I hit my head, and maybe that's why
He wasn't trying to fit in.
yeah.
No.
In other episodes, they make a big effort to kind of blend in and not be known. And it would have served them well in this episode if they had just handled some stuff a little differently. But you're right. I agree with you. Kirk's kind of quasi on the warpath, being a little arrogant because they really don't know what they're in for. And then, like, almost on cue, the clock strikes 6,
And the people
and,
nut out.
and everything breaks loose.
I can remember it. I still remember it exactly the way that I did when I was a kid. Because was it Hagris or what's his daughter's?
I don't remember her name.
She's there, and as soon as it strikes 6, she goes, yeah, and just rips her dress open. And I remember being a kid going like, holy cow, I want to go to festival.
What's going on over there?
Man, there was no warm up, there was no warning. As soon as that clock struck, she screamed.
And
Instant purge.
And the
Instant
lady,
purge.
well, no, but see, that's the thing. Jim's right. I remember seeing it as a child, and first pass, I kind of wrote it all off as like violence breaks out, but that's not really what's
No.
happening. That's not entirely what's
I
happening.
know.
No.
Some violence.
The violence is the men fighting over.
No, there was a couple of places where a guy picked up a stick and hit another guy. Maybe
Right.
it's to get to the woman.
So that's what I'm saying. The violence is driven by, oh no, I want that one, but the women instantly lose all lady likeness.
All
and-
inhibitions.
Because the woman in the black dress tears her clothes and runs across the street and jumps on Kirk.
Yeah. And one of the bully boys pulls her
No,
off.
that's not the bully boy.
Oh, it wasn't?
One of the
guy.
townies.
Oh,
one of the townies goes, "No, I got that one," and yanks her off and runs away with her.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, you for me, not for this stranger.
Unbelievable.
But there's guys in the street hitting each other over the head with clubs, and the girls are down for whatever. And
One guy just runs and jumps through
Pretty,
a store window.
well, eventually, pretty crazy for 1967 television.
The only thing is, and I don't know if was it implied in the storytelling, and were the writers trying to suggest that there were also fatalities? Because it seems like the level of
They don't come out and say it, but you would think it'd be inevitable based on what they showed you.
yeah, I don't know how it could stop at
I think
death.
the aftermath there probably was, because if you're hitting somebody in the stick with a stick to get to the woman he's got,
Yeah,
No,
I'm pretty sure there's going to be some damage
if
done.
I'm beaning somebody with a brick.
Yeah, beaming
yeah,
somebody
because they
with
were
a brick.
whipped. There was a lot of incoming as they were
So
running.
I'm sure there's some fatalities, but also a rise in pregnancy.
Yeah, and
Possibly.
I'm wondering if that's part of the reproductive cycle
I
that
think it is.
Landrew is.
To keep because
When you're
he's-
all smiley, goofy
right,
like
because
that, you
he-
can't.
as you go through the story, he's made them so passive
Right,
that they probably wouldn't procreate.
right.
And the red hour is an opportunity
Yeah.
for them to
That's the mating cycle.
the mating cycle.
That's their POMFAR.
Yep.
Nutty.
It's a computer-induced POMFAR on humans.
I never thought about it until we just started talking about it. But when you think about it,
Logical.
out of a passive society, they
Logical.
would never reproduce.
No.
So you need the red hour, the red light district,
Mm-hmm.
Well-
for you to get your Mickey on.
Well, riddle me this, gentlemen, because now that I think about it, I wasn't settled on the answer. I thought I knew. Is the 6 o'clock red hour every day, or is it certain periods of time?
No.
It's a festival. I think it's once a year or at least twice a year.
Yeah, I get it as
They never say.
I know, but it's a festival.
Society couldn't hold itself together.
It can't be every day.
No, because just repairing
So you got-
windows.
It's
and
probably
doors.
once a year, and it's probably the spring festival or something like that.
I bet it's more than once a year.
Well, it could be.
Could be, but and of course, the luck of our intrepid crew, you beam down right in the middle
Of an orgy.
of festival, of a bloody orgy,
Festival.
of a spasm
Yeah,
of
that one
violence.
guy was happy.
He
wasn't
was
he?
happy. I just remember
It's
that.
like, I can get one today.
Festival.
No, he throws himself through a window and then walks out like, yay. So they make their way to Rager's place, or
while being beamed by styrofoam.
well,
rocks.
that's a little bit. Well, no, that is they are getting stuff thrown at them, and
They are
all
catching
kind-
damage, and the impression I get is that without doing what they did, that they would have had to whip out those Type 1s and
go to work.
and go to work.
Busy.
Oh, the red shirts were
busy.
carrying Type 2s.
Oh, were they?
Yeah, they show them at one point
Okay.
when they're concealed carrying them.
Okay.
What? I'm all for that. But so yeah, they make their way through the mayhem and they get to the building and they run across a guy we find a younger gentleman we find out is Rhaegar and two older men. And immediately, and again, this is feeding what we're talking about. They're really not trying to play along. Probably a bad call ultimately, but they bust in there and the older guys are looking at them like, how come you aren't festivaling and you guys are young men?
Right. Supposed to
It's
get
festival
out there.
time.
Busy.
You don't and you do they
How
do
we gonna
let you
keep
know
the population going.
That's not what they're thinking.
And
That's exactly what he's thinking.
Yeah, because
That's exactly what one of the oldest
No.
guys thinking. The shortest guy out of the three.
No, he's thinking this is just what is done.
Right. You're supposed to be out there in the festival. You're young men.
Right.
You're supposed to be out there getting busy.
Yep. And that makes sense why you don't have the old guys out there,
That feeds into
because
it.
they're not.
I don't think.
There's no Viagra.
Oh no.
No.
Oh no.
We gotta get you on,
Your
on board,
your
Admiral.
Captain Matrix won't work on me. No, but
You're missing it.
no.
Two captains are right
Yeah.
about procreation.
You focused in on
yes,
particular
the
aspect
truth of it.
Yeah.
okay, particular aspect of it.
So any one of our followers, look at this episode critically and ask yourself, how could this society survive without festival?
I don't disagree with the point you made.
That's what festival is about.
No, I think there's more. There's more than that. There's more than that.
Yeah.
It's a release of all manner of
Well,
aggression
I think
and emotion.
we have to jump a little bit ahead, but when the Archons had something to do with this, I think.
No, not based on what they explain.
Okay, because I was wondering if, like, when they came down, they disrupted things, and then
They disrupted the festival.
They attempted to.
Disrupt the festival.
okay, I got you.
No, when they explain about the Archons, well, now we are jumped ahead, but whatever. What basically they give you in the very brief backstory is that when the crew of the Archon showed up, they kind of took the same attitude Kirk had and tried to disrupt this thing, and they failed.
Right.
But it wasn't about them.
Disrupting the society.
Right.
And the society needs what? The festival. Why?
Well,
why does the society
Landru's maintaining control.
Why does society need the festival? Because Landru's maintaining control, and you don't have any procreation.
Well, but there's also the outpouring of violence and emotion.
You got to vent a little violence,
and
but
emotions and
procreation
everything
is a
else.
key issue.
Okay. You're very focused.
Well, unless there was a specific
You're
one-to-one,
very focused on
I'm
your
a captain.
procreation.
unless there was a specific one-to-one
worry
ratio,
about the people
you
in your
have to
ship.
have violence for those individuals that weren't pairing up in order to get out that
Well,
energy.
and okay, I'll go ahead and get on board. What that is survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
The most aggressive male will get to procreate. How about that? You like that? I'm here.
That's the truth.
We there.
It's the truth.
We there. You
I'm
good?
glad you finally got on board,
No,
Admiral.
Moving on. So immediately we have a situation where
They bust into the home.
they're in the home. The one older gentleman confronts them immediately. He's a zealot. He's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing? You need to be out in the street."
Getting busy.
And Rhaegar and Tamar, which is the other older gentleman, are trying to kind of go, "Hey, wait, maybe they're not from here. Maybe there's an explanation, but dude is like, no, they should be out there crazy like everybody else.
No, the God of this world tells us at the red hour, you young men are supposed to be out there getting busy, and you're not out there getting busy, and I'm going to rat you out.
Right, because he's seeing it at a level of like, if you're not doing that, then there's no way you can be of the body.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
right.
Absolutely.
Right.
You're not fitting into the culture.
Right, you're not of the body.
That's
and
right.
this is where I was thinking Kirk should use his head. Once they saw what was going on, at the very least, even though it's somewhat risky, at the very least,
They should have went back outside.
you got to get out in the street. You got to weather it.
Yep.
You got to stay out in the street that night. You got to make it look good. You got to do what you got to do
Yep.
to not draw attention to yourself. And then you can show up at this guy's place in the morning or whenever this stops and say, hey, you know, we just hit town for festival, yada, yada, yada.
We need a place to rest.
Right. Then they would have had some time. But because Kirk refuses to do that, and our boy the narc runs out and goes and gets the lawgivers,
Yep.
you know,
Because you're not fitting into the culture. You're not part of the cult, man.
you're not of the body.
Not of the body.
You're threatening the survival of our species.
Yep.
Nah, I don't
'Cause
think
you ain't procreating.
Landrew says.
Landrew says get out there and get busy.
You go stay right there. Huh? You stop.
I'm on this train. I'm not getting off of it.
All right. But yeah, it just really jumped out at me compared to other episodes that the crew is not, they're not making the wisest decisions.
They're not blending.
Oh,
Yeah, they're not making
Or
the
at least
wisest
it's-
decisions.
and you got a bully boy with as many lines as Spock does in this episode.
Yeah, the crewman does. He's
Pulling
saying
his
a lot.
phaser. He's like, he answered one time for Kirk. He said something about, oh, you guys are new here or something like that. He goes like, well, we just arrived.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I would have sent him back up to the ship. But
I would have sent me back up to the ship. I'd seen enough. I'd seen enough in 10 minutes on the ground to get out of Dodge.
I'd have participated in the festival.
there's a
Of course
point.
you would.
There's a point where the Billy boy goes, "We got our guy. Let's get out of here." And he's like, "No, I want to find out what happened to the Archon."
As a captain, you have to be part of the society for the greater good.
You're just digging a deeper hole for yourself.
Get out there.
You just
Get out
digging a
there.
deeper hole for
At least
yourself.
make it look good.
No, you just digging a deeper hole for yourself. It's all right. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, man, you gotta make it look
Go
good.
see the shovel going up.
You gotta make it look
Throwing dirt. You just keep digging. Keep digging. All right. So our his name is, the narc's name escapes me. I should have wrote it down. But he shows up with the lawgivers. And at first they're like, hey, you're coming with us, you're going to be absorbed. And Kirk's already formulated in his mind a theory. So he plays his theory and he refuses, and they are confused. They're confused by it, and they actually step out, apparently leaving. And, you know, he confers with Spock, and they're like, "Do you see that?" They're confused, and Spock immediately jumps to almost like a computer that's been given a bad directive.
So does Taste of Armageddon come before this one?
No, I don't think so.
Because you find the same thing in Taste of Armageddon when the people are willfully going into disintegration chambers, and Kirk goes, "No,
It's a reoccurring thing.
no, we're not. When you have a totalitarian system and they're used to people
People have
complying.
been conditioned to comply.
When they come across a guy who's not going to comply, it's like,
Well, the other thing
what do
is,
you do with him?
the other thing is
gets
that
canceled.
it seems like, you know, and as we're kind of peeling the onion here, it seems like being reabsorbed is something that has to be done
Reprogramming.
pretty frequently because everybody knows about it. Everybody questions whether or not you're of the body. So I'm wondering if the body, the reprogramming has a finite amount, because they have a whole facility set up. They have a whole process. They have guys taking shifts and doing it.
That's a good point.
I didn't get the
it's
impression.
not like there's infants going in this booth.
I didn't
It's
get
made
the
for grown
impression.
people.
I didn't get the impression that the ordinary folks had to be reprogrammed that often.
No, he makes a good point. You wouldn't have a booth for reprogramming if nobody needed reprogramming.
Well, no, you'd have it. You'd have it because somebody shows up periodically who's not on board.
Periodically from what? You don't have a chamber for adults who's lived up to their full height that hadn't been programmed. So to have a reprogramming chamber means at some point the programming had to be lost.
Yeah.
I think you probably fall in and out of it depending on like for instance, the daughter Post.
Yeah.
She wasn't doing the happy smiling thing.
No,
she
and it
was
wasn't the red
traumatized.
hour anymore.
She was traumatized for
so
sure.
she's probably going to need to get reprogrammed because
Right.
she was taken out of the body physically.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's they probably got to do a little touch up on
that's
it every once
that's
in a while.
probably when it kicks in, when something so traumatic happens that it snaps you out of it.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
So the lawgivers pause for a minute, apparently leave, but then they come right back in and they're like, "Hey,
No, I like what he said. They huddle up and they go, maybe we didn't.
maybe we weren't clear.
We weren't
Yeah.
clear. Like we're going to restate this. You
Come
need to
with us now. You're going to be absorbed.
Yeah, because what
Do
they
you
did is
understand?"
they defaulted to a program where it would have, like the first one was you're going to be reprogrammed, and then they said maybe these are newbies
Maybe these
that
are
have
not
never.
programmed.
Maybe these truly are from someplace that doesn't. We miss these guys. Okay, we need to lay it down. You need to come with us because we need to do something to you. And then Kirk is like, no.
Yeah.
And right there, as far as I'm concerned, your prime directive's out the window
Yeah. Yeah.
because you're messing with it.
No,
Yeah.
no.
You don't think so?
They're asking you to take on a programming. You don't have to comply to take on their programming. You just can't stop
But they
one of
could-
their other people from taking on the program.
They could have avoided this moment had they played along at the
Oh,
beginning.
yeah. Like I said, I've been out there getting busy.
But couldn't you have done this? Couldn't you have done this? Okay. They're
I'd
gonna.
have played along, man. You know, I couldn't help if she jumped on me.
I would have stunned
go with
everybody and beamed up off
For
the
the sake
planet.
of the prime directive.
I'll send you to Starfleet HR.
I would have stunned everybody and just beamed back off the planet and just said it's too far gone. Call Starfleet, ask them to send an ambassador or a cleanup team like Men on Black or something like that. Men in Black.
I probably would have went with them just to see where the control center was. Probably cut to the chase a little faster. Maybe get to Landru a little quicker, or get to the other guy that's coming later in the episode a little quicker, and get to the bottom of it faster.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That's assuming it would have played out like that. You don't know what they're gonna do.
Because they
you
say
understand-
no to these guys, and
Well-
then they go upstairs and take a nap.
I'm looking at it like this, sort of like what you said. I got my phaser in my pocket. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. These guys are like, "Come with us." To me, that's like, okay, I can get to the root of this thing now. And I'm banking on the idea that, you know, me and the 5 guys with me with our phasers, when we decide to, we can say no at that point. That's what I'm looking at. But
Yeah.
so they come back. So after they explain more thoroughly, and Kirk still says no.
Well, did we skip over the guy getting blew down?
Well, no, that's where we are.
Yeah.
Then they come in and say, Tamar, you go stand over there. You violated, and they blast him. And you get the Klingon disruptor sound effect.
But you know what got me about that? And I don't know if you guys were confused as I were. When Spock got his hands on it, he said it's just a hollow tube. So how did the Roman candle affect? What was that simulating? Was that
Probably the sonics, because the Landru used a lot of sonics.
It was Landru focusing. No, that wasn't Sonics. That was Landru focusing the same kind of energy he used to attack the Enterprise to kill that man.
Oh.
And the lawgiver, the stick is just a focal point, if even that. It might just be a visual
representation.
visual
It's a little
representation.
GPS for where he needs to aim.
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Landru fried the guy at range. The lawgiver's there just making it look like it, I'm going through the motions here. I point the stick and you get fried.
The theater. It's theater. I got you.
Because that makes the people fear the lawgiver.
I got you. Yeah. Good thing you're here.
Point you with the
Okay.
wrapping paper
I wouldn't
too.
have that problem because I'll be out there
You'd be out there playing along.
playing along.
Okay.
Kirk sits in the window all night watching. So
I know. He's doing voyeurism. I'll be out there in the midst of it.
It's with you today.
we always know and always will know what Daystrom's ship was like. Those 5 years that you were out there, brother.
Yep.
People had a good time on.
We following the prime directive.
Where's Starfleet HR? But so They fry Tamar and they say, now you're coming with us or else. So they get out. So Kirk and company get out in the street. And did they?
No, they went upstairs. Those guys turn around and walk. Remember, he says, "Oh, they're talking to each other. Now's our time to make a break."
Oh yeah, when they go to huddle again.
Yeah.
Kirk says no the second time. They go to huddle again, and Rhaegar takes them and says, now we can get out of here. Takes them out in the street.
No, he takes them upstairs. He doesn't take them out in the street.
Okay, he takes them upstairs.
Yeah.
But it's at this point that they eventually leave the building.
No, they go upstairs for the night.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm getting lost there.
Yeah.
But that part's kind of flipped over in my head.
Yeah, he goes, "We've got time." So he takes them upstairs.
Right.
And then he starts to say,
That gives them the night.
well, yeah, he's like, "You guys, you're not going out?" Because that's what he says to him.
Yeah.
He goes, "Now that you got a place, are you not going out?" And he goes, "No, we're not going to go out to festival." Yeah. And I think there was like a commercial break or something like that.
And that's where Rhaegar's like, you really aren't of the body.
Right.
For real, you're not.
Right.
But that's okay with Rhaegar, as we find out.
Yeah. But then you don't see him leaving. They go to like a commercial break, and then when they come back in, Kirk's looking out the window at
the sun,
Captain Daystrom and company out there having a good time.
Yeah, Daystrom out there.
I'm blending in.
Going, festival.
Daystrom out there.
Yeah, I'm blending in, man.
Enjoying
I'm not
life.
causing waves. Blending in.
Shame.
Ain't no shame. If you jumped on me, what am I supposed to do?
Shame.
I accept it in the face of the Federation.
That's not what the Prime Directive says. But, so yeah.
And then Kirk starts throwing orders around. He tells somebody to do something, somebody to look at history, which I don't know why I didn't see a tricorder. And then he told Spock, he goes, you and I have to come up with some plans.
Yeah, we got to come up with a plan. And they blow by the night. And that's when you see the people out in the street acting crazy. That's when you see our good friend dive through a perfectly good window and come back out yelling, festival. I love festival.
And of course, Kirk is up all night. And then they have which I thought was kind of like they've got Spock laying down, but his eyes are open.
Yeah.
And then when Kirk comes by, he's almost like trying to wake him up. He's like, Spock. And you see Spock kind of like move a little bit. So it's like either he was in such deep thought that it resembled sleeping with your eyes open, or Vulcans sleep with their eyes open.
I think in one episode they kind of said Vulcans don't really sleep like we do. Mm-hmm. They do kind of just go into a meditative state and rest their bodies, but they don't quote unquote sleep.
Yeah, and
I think that came from Enterprise.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. Because they do the whole slab thing, they don't sleep in beds. Spock sleeps on like a slab. So yeah. Kirk wakes everybody up. That's when he's like, "Hey, I gotta get you out of here. There's a place we can go."
Yep.
And you get downstairs, and that's when his daughter comes in from the night.
Yep.
And she's all traumatized.
It's gonna need to be reabsorbed.
But
she was down for it at the beginning.
It
was festival.
McCoy says, Spock goes, no, Kirk goes, give her a shot.
Give her a shot.
Like that's okay.
Give her a sedative.
That's the answer.
Yeah, give her a sedative.
Yeah,
that's all you can do. And that's when again the security guy again. I don't think they ever name him. Actually, you know what? He's not the security guy. He's the sociologist that they end up leaving behind.
Oh, he was mad at the dude. He said, "Your daughter's out
like, what
there,
kind of man are you?
Your daughter's out there, man, and they going crazy."
They throw that around a little bit. Kirk says that later on.
He's like, "What kind of man are you? You left your daughter out there. What's wrong with you?"
Be a man.
I can't argue with that.
Yeah,
I'm not leaving my daughter at the festival.
It's part of the culture, Admiral.
No, I'm not.
Per the Prime Directive, you're supposed to participate in the culture.
No, I'm not.
See, you violator.
Funny choice of words coming from you. But so they're trying to get him down the street.
So they head out to the back lot of Desilu.
Yeah, pretty much the Western town.
And
they're trying to get down the street, and the guy's telling them we got to hurry up because if Landru sees us, it's going to be bad. And Kirk and company are just starting to kind of go, what does that even mean? And then everybody on the street stops and looks at them.
He goes, too late.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Too late.
Everybody starts picking up sticks.
And sticks and rocks and whatever else is handy. and they get chased by the entire town.
They didn't even get chased. These guys are moving so slow. What they ran out of energy from the festival the night before.
They're walking very deliberately.
Zombie mode.
Zombie mode.
Yeah.
Well, first gen zombie mode.
First gen zombie.
Not 2.0.
No, not that.
Yeah,
They walking slow.
But Kirk says set for stun, and they start putting people to sleep. I would have, at that point, I think I might have just kind of been like, you know what, everybody gets a nap at this point. We're going to find out what's going on here.
Let's just beam back up. We can beam back down later.
It's true. Yeah, they don't know the Enterprise is under attack yet.
Yeah, I think this episode, because it's not one that we've really enjoyed and we haven't studied it a lot. There's a lot of questions, because I think at that point I would have beamed down about 100 security guys.
You got to be careful. Prime directive.
Yeah, I'm done.
Kirk's done with the Prime Directive.
No, he isn't.
Yeah, he is.
No, he isn't. He's not done with it until later on in the app.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. He's not done with it. I am. Captain Palpatine. At that point, I'm like, I want my guy. But I would have found out at that point. Had Landry started the attack on this ship?
No, not.
They don't know. They don't know yet. It's coming.
Okay.
It's coming up.
Yeah,
because
they closed that door later on. I would have taken it earlier.
And rather not, they could have beamed up at that point. Because I'm kind of with Jake at this point. I'm kind of with Jake. I've seen enough.
Well,
Yeah.
on the way to the hideout, they find their lost crew member.
Yeah, they find O'Neill as one of the people they stunned.
They take him into the hideout, and the guy's like, "Look, you can't let him wake up because Landry will find out where we are."
Mm-hmm.
And then he starts to talk about the Archons and
and the Resistance group,
getting into the issues of what happened.
Right.
And Kirk's like, "Well, we lost the ship, the Archon and all that stuff." So the pieces start to come together.
Right.
That's when he calls the ship. He goes,
let's get out of here.
No, the previous ship was probably destroyed.
Right, and Kirk calls to check on the Enterprise.
Enterprise is under attack.
Scotty tells them they're being bombarded with such intense energy that if they drop the seal,
do you think there's a do not disturb on the communicators? Because if it seems like if I'm Scotty and my ship, Scotty's ship, is being attacked, that I would notify the captain.
Well, he said he tried to call him.
Oh, did he?
Yes.
Oh, my bad then. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that was the second call up where he says we've been trying to reach you, but okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they get the explanation. The Archon did show up. The crew tried to intervene. The crew was either killed or absorbed.
This is sort of where we jumped ahead a while ago. The Archon caused a disturbance within the body.
Right.
Well, yeah, they tried to do the same thing Kirk and company are thinking. They tried to shut it down.
They weren't part of the body, and they weren't willing to be absorbed.
Become part of the body. Right.
So that's a shake to the body.
Right.
If you don't want to be part of us, you want to be a other.
But
we're not going to let you be the other.
I think it also, too, is that it calls for, continued analysis in support of the hypothesis of the Daystrom theory, because the Archon was so long ago that even though Enterprise was second ship, there was so little to go on that they really almost ended up having to be a first ship here.
Yeah, but when the pieces start to fall into place, it says, okay, this is what happened. But the Archon, he calls up to the ship and finds, okay, now it's happening to us as well. Mm-hmm. I need to. It's no longer I can just beam away and just leave the planet.
Right.
I got to solve this problem.
I've got to solve this issue.
Right.
I got to solve this issue, and him and Spock are trying to.
Well, they're reasoning it out. They pretty quickly kind of get a baseline for what they think is happening.
They're trying to reason out what's going on.
The writers gift us with the sociologist that says, why are we having problems with this Stone Age? It's simple that these guys are here. And Spock goes, it's not simple. And it's very dangerous. Yeah. Because at this point, it's just start phasering and figure this out. And all of a sudden what the writers do is like, okay, now we got to put the ship in jeopardy. And Scotty's basically telling you, I can do this for a while, but not indefinitely.
12 hours.
So when they go to the hideout, they find their crew member, they go to the hideout. And the guy who takes them there finds this light panel. And he opens up this light panel that shows light in the hideout, and this light panel has no power source.
It's super advanced technology.
It's super advanced technology. So once again, you're looking at a society who's dressed like they're in the West or the 1900s, but they got super advanced
1800s,
super advanced technology. So the bar has now changed. You're not dealing with a bunch of people just nutting out.
Right.
There's something deeper going on.
Right.
And after with the tube, they got the wand, and it's nothing but a hollow tube. Something
dreaded wrapping paper tube.
Right. Something more advanced is happening here, and it's not as cut and dry.
It's
as
like
some
the
Stone Age people.
It's like the globes in Dune. It's something that appears to be a simple technology, but it's reflective of a super advanced society.
Right.
Like, not just like, well, it's an LED panel. They gotta plug it in.
The floating dispenser tubes.
Yeah.
And the floating lighting tubes in Doom.
Right.
They just follow you around and give you light.
Yeah.
Like what it takes for a society to create something like that. And that's what I loved about Trek. Just because a society looked like they were sheep herders.
Right.
Ergo,
the Organians,
they could be super advanced, and a misstep can be deadly. That's why you should have been out there purging like everybody else is purging. Should have been out there festivaling it. See, my ship would have been safe because we would have been festivaling. So beam them down. It's festival.
So in the middle of all this, they start
you all would have ended up in the body.
They start getting the supersonic.
Yeah, they're talking, and Rager's warning them, saying, we have to tread lightly, and Kirk's not really trying to hear it. And on cue, the energy levels begin to go up.
Well, before that, he pushes Kirk, don't let this guy wake up, and Kirk sort of caves. So go, okay, McCoy.
Keep him asleep.
Keep him asleep.
Keep O'Neill asleep. Right.
And as he sets him down and tries to talk about it, it was too late.
The sonics kick in.
The sonics kick in. No, before the sonics kick in.
Well, Landru appears.
Landru appears.
Landru appears, and he tells him there will be peace. You are a threat to the body.
Do you remember in Escape from New York? Do you remember when they fly in and the one guy walks up and he's got the president's finger, and he goes, "If you're not in the air in 15 seconds,
he dies.
15 seconds, he dies. If it does, he dies." And he goes,
"If you try to come."
Didn't it look like Landru?
Yeah,
like Billy Idol.
Yeah,
he looked like a Billy Idol. That
haircut. That haircut. Yeah.
Yeah,
it did look like him. But the image of Landru appears and tells him that they are a threat to the peace and stability of the body. And then the sonics kick in and everybody gets a nap. And Kirk, of course, is the last one to go down.
Last one to go down and first to wake up.
Yep. They wake up in prison. No phasers.
No communicators.
No communicators.
And no doctor.
No McCoy. And no Red Shirt. One of the Red Shirts is missing that they don't name.
Guard. Kirk says, get one of the guards.
Yeah. God, what happened to the guard? It's a terrible way to treat a Red Shirt. So, naturally, of course, McCoy comes back in and the Red Shirt come back in, and they're happy to be part of the body.
They're part of the body, man.
Happy to be part of the body.
Don't you want to be part of the body?
Not so much, no. I'm good.
What about you, Admiral? Captain?
No.
You want to be part of the body?
No.
I would have pretended.
Well, maybe.
You messed around and got absorbed.
I might have got a little shore leave around festival.
Oh, God.
See? And you got to deal with you got to play into the culture. When in Rome, do what the Romans do, man. That's how you stay alive. Admiral go down there, he be blew down in a minute. Light tubes be flashing all around Admiral. I'll be out there.
Did you see? Are you the body? I am tonight. Did you see that? Did you see that?
I'm having a heart attack.
Did you get this informatic that someone gave me? I forwarded to you, but
yeah.
You see the number of Red Shirt deaths?
Yeah, it's
in the original series, formally, according to this informatic that was sent to us, there was 28 Red Shirt deaths, 7 blue shirts, and 8 gold shirts. So your best survival is the blue shirt by a factor of almost 3. 3.5.
Yeah, you got to play in, man. So they go to sleep. They wake up.
They wake up in the prison.
And then McCoy comes in.
McCoy and the guard come in. They're of the body.
And they got that stupid smile on their face. But McCoy turns mad quick.
Yeah, he does.
Well, yeah, McCoy is still McCoy.
Well, that's because he's got this psycho captain in his face going, "You remember, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
McCoy.
You remember the shop?"
And McCoy is still McCoy. Kirk's trying to snap McCoy out of it. McCoy is it can't
Why
be
did he
snapped.
give him a fresh one? I don't know why he didn't give him a fresh one.
Yeah, he should have just knocked him out.
He should
He
have.
should have just knocked them both out.
Get a couple of slaps in there, but
He should have knocked them both out. Put them down. Keep them down. Subdue them. Control them. But then, of course, the lawgivers come for Kirk and Spock. And they take them out.
Well, they had the conversation about, I don't think what you did the first time is going to work
Gonna
this
work.
time because I think it's a computer system and it's probably going to figure out
Well, yeah, they come
Oh,
in.
he does.
step.
They come in and say, "Come with us or die."
oh yeah. He goes,
Spock looks at him like, I think you better go with
they solved that one. They
Come
solved that algorithm.
Come with this or die. You'll find out the mystery of the tube.
That's right.
Kirk gets taken in the room. Our sleepy little town has a computerized center, which we were talking about. That one station was probably a combination of the ag booth and the control panel from the mental asylum in the other episodes. But they hook Kirk in, and a guy that kind of gave me like Landru Priest vibes.
Yes, that's exactly the way he
comes
off.
in. They never say it.
That's
but-
exactly the way he comes off, though, as one of the high priests.
Yeah,
Yes, he does.
They never say it, but he comes in and his name is Marpon.
He has the attributes of a priest. He's
Yes.
bald. He's got eyeliner on, and he's wearing flowing robes.
Yeah,
And he's overweight.
the kind of priest you meet at the airport. But so his name is Marpon, and he takes over for the lawgiver who was running the machine, and they hook Kirk up, and Kirk gets made part of the body.
What's funny is the lawgivers have reverb on their voices,
Yeah, they sound like robots.
and Marpom
Does
sounds
not.
like a human.
Yeah. Whatever has happened to the lawgivers is different than what has been done to the rest of the citizens. It's on another level, and they don't explain it. They don't explain if the lawgivers.
That's one of the things that caused this episode not to be high in my standards or high in my like, because there's very little explained
True.
about the overall going on in the episode.
They give it to you, but it's in very broad strokes. There's similar things happen in other episodes, but they go into much more detail
That's
to
what
explain
I'm-
it
that's
to
what
you.
I'm talking
They give it to you in the
about.
broad strokes. This one's kind of I might just be the difference in the writer, but this one kind of is just kind of like, if you miss some of the side conversation, you really don't know what's happening.
Right.
You don't know how they got here.
You really got to watch this episode closely.
Yeah. So
Marpom comes in.
Marpon comes in, hooks Kirk up. And then they cut back to the prison, and Kirk comes in, and
No, they cut back to Spock.
that's the prison.
Oh, no, Kirk doesn't come in at that time.
They show Spock.
They tell Spock, come with us or,
Come with
or
us.
get blasted.
Well, no, there was this was a very un-Spock like. There was a point where
Well, yeah, we're getting
when
to
they took Kirk out, he says to one of the guards, "Well, what are they going to do to him?"
Yeah.
And you would think that Spock has already put that together.
All right, they're going to absorb him.
Yeah. And maybe he was looking for information like they're going to take him and put him up against the wall, and there's going to be wrist restraints, and there's going to be a guy in a booth, and he's going to flip some switches and stuff. But the guy just answered, with the old, well, he's going to feel wonderful, and it's going to be great or whatever.
It's going to be fantastic.
But I thought that was a very un-Spockish line to ask, a red shirt, what's going to happen to
he's
describe
asking-
the process.
He was asking the red shirt who got absorbed.
Right.
I was thinking about that because we mentioned there's a lot of un-Spock-like behavior in this segment that we're getting into, and it just dawned on me: the episodes were not filmed in the order that they were aired,
Right.
So
and I don't think they had
The
Spock's
character was figured
character
out yet.
ironed out yet as far as what he would or would not do.
We're going to get to something that is
yes.
was the reason that the neck pinch was invented
Yeah.
was to avoid what
What happened in this
Yeah,
episode?
What happened?
Leonard Nimoy invented it just for
Yeah.
that reason.
Yeah.
He didn't
It
think
might have been this episode.
it shows
Because
up.
he goes from one thing to another in
Yeah, he
this
does.
episode.
True. So
But the one thing I would say, I know we don't want to leave. Well, so most of the time, the neck pinch is a rear assault or oblique.
Yes.
he does it. He does it head on a couple times. But
Well,
most
the
of the time
person
it's-
is not expecting it. This person was engaging him, so I don't know if he could have. I don't know. We'll get to it.
Yeah. No, we're pretty much we're almost
So
there.
the guys
but
come in. They tell Spock, "You're coming with us."
come in with us.
and they lead Spock out.
Right.
And
Take him to the room.
as Spock is coming into the room, you
Kirk's
see
coming.
Kirk's walking out with a stupid smile, and it is good to be part of the body.
You know, if Kirk could have pulled that smile off,
That's what
with
I'm
the
saying. He
no,
should have been out there with me,
No,
man.
no,
He should've
but
been- no, see,
even
now you
beyond that-
agree with
even
me.
beyond- no,
he
he-
should have been. He
I'm
should have been out there
I'm not-
festival.
I'm
Yes,
not
you
agreeing-
are.
I'm not agreeing
yes,
with you.
you are.
No,
He
no.
should have been out there festivaling with me, and he would have never been in this problem.
I'm just not agreeing with you because I don't want to be on tape agreeing to your festival activities. But no, actually, what jumped in my head was if Kirk could have affected that dumb smile when he was talking to the Klingons in Errand of Mercy,
He couldn't
he
do-
might not have got
He
caught.
couldn't do it in Errand of Mercy because Kirk called him out. He goes, "Where's your sheepish
I know,
smile, man?
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Man, you can't act for nothing."
Right.
Poor William Shatner.
But no, but in this one, Kirk's like, "Oh, hey, Heidi ho, neighbor."
Too late.
I
Should have been out there festivaling it, buddy.
No,
Too late.
no. But so Kirk
I
appeared.
need to rewrite this episode.
No, you do not. You
we
do
need
not.
to film it.
No, I'm not filming nothing. No, stop.
Are you part of the body, Captain?
Captain's log, Captain Daystrom, the NCC 1984. NCC get some. Beaming down to the planet for
It's not.
festival.
It's not a you part of the body. It's a body part.
Captain's log, beaming down for the festival. We'll resume investigation at 6:01 a.m.
Red hour. Red hour. Ooh.
Yeah, got to blend in, man.
Yeah.
Got to blend in.
Have been observing the population of Beta 3 for 6 months.
Send the whole crew down.
No crew.
Get your festival on.
Oh,
Hey, Ensign Smith, what ship did you get assigned? I'm on Captain Daystrom's ship. You know, they go to festival twice a
Yeah,
year.
so you don't get x-ray shot at your ship ready to crash. You get down there, man. Get down there, be part of it.
second ship on the scene, trying to figure out what happened to Daystrom's ship, and they find an empty starship in orbit around the planet, wondering where everybody is. And there's a whole lot more people in the body. That's what happens.
No, I would have survived.
That's
man.
what happens,
Survive. You play along.
Captain Tracy.
Play
But,
along.
You Captain Tracy, waiting to happen.
Tracy was right.
100
years for the Federation to come save you. You
Put
better
this-
save yourself.
Put this on the record. Put this on the record. Captain Daystrom's heroes is Hardcore Fenton Mudd and Captain Tracy. That's his hero. Let's keep that in mind. Let's keep that in mind.
Let's rock on, Admiral.
Hey, we're getting there. We're getting there. So Spock goes in, and Marpon's waiting for him. And as soon as the lawgivers are out of sight, Marpon says, "Relax." You know, Marpon tells Spock, "Relax. Your friend is fine. I didn't get here in time to save the other two." And you find out that he's the third leg of the resistance cell that Rager is a part of, and Rager doesn't even know that. Marpon tells Spock he's got to play along. He puts him in the machine, does nothing to him, and then he and Spock head back to the prison. Kirk's already in there playing "I'm of the Body." And back to Captain Palpatine's point, if only they beat up McCoy, they wouldn't have these problems. But when they get back in the cell, they're trying to have a conversation about what to do next. And McCoy's looking at him like, people in the body don't stand in corners whispering.
See that this is a problem I'm having with you, Admiral.
What's that?
Palpatine, his idea is right. He should have knocked out McCoy. But my idea is wrong, that I participated and played along like I'm part of the body. That's not right. Something's wrong here with your calculation. I would have never ended up in jail.
Is it because my idea doesn't involve sex with strangers?
Who said sex? That's in your corrupt minds.
How many times? I'm gonna run this back. How many times did you say getting busy?
A festival.
This podcast will be used as your court martial to prove. Oh.
Yeah, McCoy should have been put out. He should have been at least drugged or something.
Well, why does they have to stay in the same cell? I mean, Landry's pretty smart. He's like, I'll just leave him in there to make sure this takes.
Yeah, Landry
because it seems like it would be catch and release, right?
Yeah, you would think.
Catch and release.
You would think.
Yeah.
McCoy and the security guy clearly be put back in there to monitor.
Right.
To monitor the others, but
Kirk fell for it.
Mm-hmm.
So they're trying to formulate a plan on what to do while moderately playing it off like they've been absorbed. McCoy's not going for it. And finally, violence ensues.
Always was going to happen.
Yeah. And the lawgivers come in
go ahead.
And then we got Kirk does what Kirk does. It's judo chops, and it's just what you expect from Captain Kirk. And
judo chop to the arm, which causes unconsciousness.
No, he hits him twice.
Does he hit him twice?
Arm in the back of the head.
Yeah,
Okay,
he gets him in the head.
I was distracted by Spock's violence.
But Spock.
Big right hand.
Spock comes in, immediate right hook. And if you're reading into it, a right hook from a Vulcan.
No, I think Spock blocked with the left, hit the guy with the right.
Yeah, right hook.
And it puts the guy down, and then he
goes after one of the other ones.
Goes after one of the other ones, and it's a neck pinch.
Yeah. Well, after tossing the security guard, after tossing the red shirt,
without any concern about him landing. This is your own dude. You done tossed him on concrete.
He ragdolls him.
You done tossed your own boy on concrete, man.
And again, possibly because this was early in the filming and they hadn't quite figured out Spock's character, but Spock's getting after it. He's beating guys
But
up.
later on in the episode, he neck pinches.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, when the one guy goes after Kirk, Spock comes up behind him and drops him with a neck.
Do you think Spock pulled that right hand, or do you think it was full power?
No,
he'd have had to pull it.
Yeah.
He'd have had to pull it. Vulcan strength.
Well, by story, he pulled it. By filming, they probably haven't figured out Vulcan strength at that time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's accurate. They probably hadn't figured out that Vulcan. They probably hadn't decided that Vulcans were stronger than humans yet.
Because I think, I guess the story that everybody tells and hears is that Nimoy didn't really
like the violence.
He didn't like the violence. And I think the rationale for me, the reason that I always thought that he didn't.
It wasn't he didn't like the violence. He didn't think the violence fit the character.
Yeah, he felt like a Vulcan. They're logical. They're controlled. They're enlightened, quote unquote. They just wouldn't roll like that. They'd have another way to deal with somebody.
That's what my thought was when I was a kid is that Vulcans didn't like to kill.
Until Pong Far, where everything was off to get busy.
Right. But the reason that he didn't throw a punch is because he would kill you. Like a full-on Spock punch would probably kill you.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to do the neck pinch, and therefore I protect myself from killing people.
And for those of you who are watching who think, no, that wouldn't kill a person, a regular man could punch you in the head and kill you.
Especially if they know what they're doing.
Is there ever been quantified? I'm sure there has, maybe in some sort of role play game or online or anything like that. Like, has anybody quantified Vulcan stats?
I just heard 1,000 people scream. That's not canon, but
okay.
But no, I'm sure in an RPG or whatever they define it for characters, but that's a lot of people would argue that doesn't count.
Yeah, it wouldn't count
in the series because we haven't done it yet. But the episode where the plant spores infect people and Spock wants to stay on the planet.
Oh yeah, well Kirk calls him a dog-faced boy.
Spock beats Kirk down. And that's smacking Kirk and throwing him over the transporter and the whole nine. Yes. I've always gotten the impression from the series that a Vulcan, they're not.
Kirk says something when he's talking to his log. He says, "I'm going to have to provoke Mr. Spock, which is dangerous because he has the strength of."
They're about twice as strong as a human, roughly.
Okay.
I think. It's not astronomical.
Yeah,
They're not
it's
as
not like
strong.
5 times.
It's not like 5 times or anything like that. It's about twice as strong because even in Amok time, they kind of give him an out because it's like, okay, Spock's going to murder you, man. But they kind of say, well, because he's in the
weak.
state he's in,
sick.
he's
sick.
Because of the state he's in, he's going to be weaker. And all that did was bring him down to human normal.
Well, that was
more or
one of
less.
the reasons that Kirk did what seemed to be a very stupid thing is because he said,
That other guy would kill Spock.
yeah, he said, what
Yeah.
do you think about Stan?
Stan.
And he's
Stan
like,
would
he's
murder
like,
Spock.
He's going to murder Spock. And he goes, well, I'll throw the fight so that you know, Spock can get out of it. But so would a Spock Khan matchup be
That'd probably be about
That'd be
right.
par.
about
That'd be about right.
Okay.
And they kind of did that in the Abrams reboot when they in his con, they give you that fight. They give you Spock.
You're
and
right.
Khan.
Yeah, you're right. And I actually did like that. I like that fight.
They give you that fight.
Yeah.
And that's how they played it. They were about
on par.
on par.
Yeah. I'm good with that.
Except for the brutality of Khan until Spock thought Kirk was dead
Yeah.
and Spock went off the rails.
Yeah.
Because Khan said, how can you instill violence when you can't even break fingernails? Or you know what I'm talking about. But we're off the train here. Let's go back to the Archon.
We need to remain men on track.
We are. Some of us just stuck in the festival. No. But so yeah, Spock character, little uncharacteristic for the Spock that we're used to. Probably hadn't figured the character out, and to me that's interesting. And to me that they filmed him out of sequence and released him differently. But they get through to it. Then, and to me this is where the episode actually gets interesting, like truly interesting. Kirk's like, this is when they had the discussion. Kirk's like, no, we're taking Landru down, and Rhaegar and Marpon, even though they've been part of this so-called resistance, and even though they don't like what's happening, when Kirk stands flat-footed and he's like, we're ending this. We're taking Landru out. We're gonna figure this out. We're gonna take Landru out. They're terrified. They're like, no, don't.
Well, from their point of view, you're talking about going against a godlike entity.
Right.
Well, Rhaegar even like he flips.
Yeah. Rhaegar's like, no,
He's
I don't
like
want to
he goes, this is wrong. I made a mistake.
I'm going to hell. No, forgive me.
Landru, use me as a Matrix guy and vibrate in here and take over. And he's like, yeah.
So they're terrified of the idea, and again, there's support for it because it's all they've ever known.
Right.
Even though they don't like it, even though there's things about it they're resisting, the thought of no Landru has them like, oh, wait a minute.
Well,
Wait a minute.
now the Bene Gesserit were at work there because they were aware that the Archons would return and that the Archons were powerful. But I think what Hager was seeing was not any much of that.
It wasn't the Archons they were looking for.
It wasn't the Archons. They were that part of the prophecy because what was implanted in the culture is that the Archons. And the name of the episode is Return of the Archons.
Return of the Archons.
So when the Archons came back, they would overthrow Landru.
Right. And so they were looking for the easy out. They were looking for somebody to show up and do it for them.
Yeah. And Kirk is like, no, you got to get your
You
hands
got to
dirty.
participate.
Yeah.
The revolution will not be televised. You have to get outside and do it yourself. And they're terrified, and Kirk's just straight up like, man up.
Well, that's when Spock speaks about the Prime Directive.
Yeah.
And Kirk goes, well, hold on, man. Does this look like a thriving society to you?
Right.
And
This
that was the
society's
footnote.
over.
That's the footnote to the Prime Directive that if it's the Prime Directive that if it's a thriving, evolving society, you don't interfere.
If it's a progressing society,
That's
society.
evolving on its
it's
own.
evolving on its own.
Now the reason
you leave it alone and let it evolve.
the reason that I have to accept that is because Roddenberry, he came up. This is one of his stories,
He wrote the initial story.
and the screenplay was done by
Somebody else.
somebody else. But it looks like Roddenberry left a little loophole in the Prime Directive. If the society is not progressing, you can get involved.
It's not a loophole. It's definition. It's this is the prime directive. You don't if you come across a society that's progressing naturally on its own, you don't mess with it.
Regardless if you like how fast it's progressing, if it's moving forward, because you run into the exact same issue with Ball.
Yeah, same thing. It's the same scenario.
Issue. It's the exact same story in essence, other than the festival.
Yeah.
Exact same story. Computer is in control of the society, and the society has stagnated.
Mm-hmm.
Wherein they blast Ball from orbit.
Yeah, and set society back on a course again.
Remember when we did Bread and Circuses, when they beamed down there, didn't they say what the prime directive was?
Yes. But they were talking about it in the context of the ship before them had blown it, and that's why this society was operating the way it was.
That's what they thought, but that wasn't true.
Yeah, actually, it was manipulated even further.
No, this society evolved on its own in a Roman scenario and just didn't change. They didn't influence the society.
No, the one guy that made himself Caesar co-opted the captain of the other ship. Yeah. In Bread and Circuses, yeah.
Yeah, but the society they didn't get Rome from that ship. This society evolved like that because they marveled that this society in Bread and Circuses had their own Christ.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. I thought that was the undue influence of the captain.
That's what you think, but in certain cases it looks like it, like in Archons, but it isn't. The society evolved and the ship got caught up in the machinations of the society.
Right.
Exact same thing happened with Tracy. Although it was a disease that wiped out his ship, his ship just got caught up in the issues of society. And when Tracy was left there on his own, he's like, what? I'm surviving.
Right. Yep, he set himself up.
He said, darn regulation.
He said, well, I'm here now.
I'm festival in it.
Oh, there you go. Here you go with the festival.
It is what it is, man.
Okay. So, yeah, we have actually, in my view, we have a defining or a fleshing out of the prime directive that there are instances where interference is warranted. And that tracks with what we've seen in the other episodes, like you just said, with Ball and what have you. Piece of the action is another one.
Yes. Piece of the action.
That was contamination.
That was actually contamination from the so you get these episodes that look like contamination.
And then there's some that are.
There's some that are. Piece of the action is flat out contamination.
The one where their Nazi Germany evolves is contamination.
That's contamination.
This is interesting. This is from Wikipedia. It's not from what is it?
Memory Alpha.
It says, although the concept of the prime directive has been alluded to and paraphrased by many Star Trek characters during the television series and feature films, the actual directive has never been provided to viewers.
Yeah, it's not written down in completely anywhere. It's just an idea.
And you get portions of it in Bread and Circuses,
right? And
you get an aspect of it here,
right?
In Return of the Archons.
Yeah, and to me in this episode,
because
it's a defining aspect of it. There is a limitation.
Because in Bread and Circuses, McCoy laments that he can't beam down and say, I'm the Archangel Gabriel, bow down and worship me.
And the way it's been treated in other Trek series is that it's this hard and fast rule that you don't interfere under any circumstances. That's not true.
Right.
And I think this episode brings that out pretty well. But then, I love when Kirk's got these guys and he's like, look, you got to participate in the winning of your freedom.
Well, also the Armageddon episode.
Yeah. Same thing.
Look, you guys are not progressing, and you.
I think that's him covering himself.
Well,
no. He's like, well, what did you do? He's like, well, I was in there with one of their guys.
Well, in Armageddon, that's a different story because that's a society that's on par. So the prime directive doesn't apply in Armageddon. They're not a primitive society. They're a society technologically that's almost on par with the Federation. Mm-hmm. Kirk just comes into a situation where he's like, no, I'm not accepting this, especially when they talk about killing my people.
And that's the one where Fox says, look, this system, we're losing ships in this system.
Right.
We need to go and lock down this war.
Yeah.
The Federation is coming in. We're going to tell these two planets what they can and cannot do.
Federation flex. Federation
ain't having it.
Yeah.
Back to the Archons.
Yeah. So Kirk tells him, man up. Freedom ain't free. There's a price to be paid.
So you got to be a man. They up there crying.
He tells him that.
I thought Kirk was going to go smack.
I thought it was. There should have been at least 2 smackdown. See, a couple of fresh ones. McCoy should have got a fresh one.
And the high priest.
And he should have done a Three Stooges slap on both of those guys when they were standing there. Rob Moe would hit Larry and
he called him out. He said, "Look, man up.
Be a man."
He said, "Are you man?
Freedom ain't free.
Right.
You got to bleed for this
you
thing.
need to be a man's."
And to me, that's drilling into the.
Well, it didn't work. They didn't care.
Right.
I mean, it's not.
Well, he drags Marpon to the what turns out to be the to the lair of Landru, the computer room, and they get in there.
That shot was a mess. The 2 robed figures were definitely not Shatner and Nimoy.
Well,
then when they did the close-up,
it wasn't the same robes.
Well, nobody's watching it as closely as we are.
I don't know.
Because if you're watching the episodes,
just to watching them.
Men on Track, when they walk up to Landru's
Hall of Audience.
The Hall of Audience.
Yeah.
The 2 guys walking up, robes are the exact same length from the floor. And the 2 guys are not the same height. When they show you the picture of Kirk and Spock's robes are at least a foot higher, foot off the ground.
And Kirk's robes is dragging.
So they weren't the same. They weren't the guys walking up to the.
It just goes to show you the second unit director had a lot more respect than when they shot the guy.
No, you know why they did that?
Why?
Because I think Nimoy and Shatner are fairly radically different heights. Shatner's not that tall. Nimoy's a pretty tall guy. So to make that long shot work, there's probably somebody.
So it didn't look like a guy walking his son down the
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. Although the guy on the right was still taller than the guy on the left.
He
shot,
was.
But they weren't drastically taller.
Right.
And and they probably use the same robe.
robes.
So when Nimoy put it on, it's like a foot off the ground.
Yeah, his boots is showing. But they get in there, and Marpon, again, even though he's kind of down with resisting, like you said, that's a really good way to put it. They've essentially dragged him to the holiest of holies, and he doesn't want to go in there. He doesn't want to go in there.
How did he open that door? Did he use the force? He used the force?
No,
he bowed in front of it, and it opened.
He prayed.
And you can
Ark
read
of the Covenant stuff. He was like
making
himself clean.
You can read into it. Back in the day when it was just a room with a computer in it, there's probably a sensor on the door, and you go in front of it in a certain way, and it opens. But in the priest, over time, it becomes the priestly thing, and you must bow before Landru, and the door will open, kind of a deal.
Door didn't open till he bowed, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you got a genuflex to get the door to open.
And they were nice doors.
They were
like
nice.
Mostly the doors sometimes are, it's the last thing the prop dressers trying to kind of get to, I think. But those doors were nice. I'm gonna keep an eye for them in the rest of the episodes, because I got a feeling those weren't destroyed. They were too nice.
Well, this definitely was a hodgepodge of sets from other episodes. For sure.
Yeah. Well, wait till we get and see Landru. And he's talking through the Guardian of.
Yeah, it kind of looked like it.
It was. It's exactly the same opening.
They get in, and of course the Landru hologram appears, and it's like, you're a threat to the body. I'm going to have to kill you.
He's monologuing.
It's regrettable. Yada yada yada. Monologuing and wearing a cape.
Yep.
Yeah, he's asking for it.
No arms. Well, it's like a shawl.
Yeah,
he
was wrapped in his his robes.
Yeah. Kirk wasn't having it.
The great Landru. And Kirk was like, "Well, I'm gonna,
let's just skip to the end of this.
Yeah.
Pull out the face."
I appreciated how Spock was tastefully carrying his phaser in his watch pocket. I found that to be cool.
Yeah.
But
they phaser a hole in the wall, which opens up the Guardian on the edge of
the hole.
Forever.
Yeah, when the hole they show them looking through definitely looks like the gateway to the edge of Forever.
And inside was the computer from A Taste of Armageddon.
Yep,
pretty much. Yeah. So then you get the classic Kirk foil. He out-logics the logic machine. Same thing he does they do to the robots in I Mud.
Yep.
And the Changeling.
Yep.
Out, So Kirk convinces the computer that it's out of line and it shuts down.
It's at fault.
Yep, it's at fault and it shuts down.
Same thing with the Duotronic 2 computer.
Yeah.
Yep. Kirk's good at it. But
Kirk's great at having a computer shut itself down. And you notice I didn't use a word so that we don't get in trouble with YouTube.
yes, turning itself off.
Turning itself off.
Yes. Shutting down.
Yeah. He does that quite a bit.
Yep. So now
And I like what Kirk says to those robed guys.
he's
He's like, he goes, I'm done. I've screwed you guys over.
now
You better go get a job.
You got to go get a
You
job.
gotta go get a job.
And yeah, that's the interesting foil of it. This
I ruined
This
your
hi-
paradise.
this highly controlled, well, it wasn't paradise, but this highly controlled structure society that was perfect in some respects is now going to become this unruly thing that has to be figured out. But that's preferable.
I plunged you into chaos.
Yeah.
I'm going to get on my ship.
And go home.
I'm going home.
And you got to learn to cope. But they did leave a team behind to help them.
One team for an entire planet.
That's we're being alerted.
So yeah, they
Really? Well, they said they were going to send back more, but he left one team there for an entire planet.
well, you'll start with the town and you'll work out. And
Well, I think to Daystrom's point, there's an entire planet now that has no focus.
yeah.
So you leaving 4 guys
You
to sort of
plunge-
manage that chaos.
Well, yeah, you don't know how big the team is, but at
Yeah.
best they could manage the town they were in. They're not gonna reach the planet all at once.
Yeah.
That's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So
Then we have the
so that's really the crux to the episode. Like when we talked about it, you can't achieve utopia without putting some skin in the game. You got to do the work.
Well,
You can't just
computer
have
control society never is beneficial to the humans that are under it.
any society where an overabundance of control is exercised on the society to force an outcome that way.
well, that's the standard
It's not
science
healthy.
fiction trope, though. That's what
It is. It is.
You know, it's even
It
in
is.
Dune, where it's like, you know, once the machines took over, then, you know, the humans were
Well, it's hidden.
victims.
They're subjugated to the machine.
It's hidden in the only work I can think of where it's done and it's not detrimental to the humans because the humans are not aware of it is Asimov's writings, Foundation, iRobot. You find out that the robots are kind of running things in the background and the humans are unaware of it.
No, you have the first foundation and the second foundation. The second foundation is actually the robots.
Yeah.
The first foundation is controlled by the main character who sets up the
mathematician who starts the foundation.
the psycho babble,
Yeah.
whatever it is for the foundation series.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But there's a second foundation
That's the robots controlling the humans
controlling
in the
humans
background,
in the
letting them
background.
think their decisions are their own.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and we said it's a precursor for like the Matrix, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's
it
a
is,
precursor to the Matrix story.
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just the Matrix just expanded on the concept.
Yeah.
But the idea is that you got to do the work. You can't. There's no easy button
You
for
can't
this.
sublet the work to somebody else.
Yeah, there's no easy button for this.
Society doesn't become better by you sitting at home and letting somebody else do the work.
Right.
That's the problem with governments, when the people decide to let the government do it all,
Yeah,
and they gave up. There was a period of
when they abdicate to the
There
government.
was a period of time in the United States where you didn't have all these safety nets.
I think it's always, you know, this always, the other side of it is always a human. So what do I mean by that? Look at E.T. Okay, E.T.'s got technology. I'm sure that they've got computers and all this other stuff. They're at peace. They're just going around growing flowers and everything. It's just when you put a human in a situation where robots and computers are involved, supposedly we have this spirit and this creativity that somehow
It's stifled.
it gets stifled, and then we die, and there's wars and everything. But all these alien civilizations that you supposedly see and hear about that have technology that, like, look at Voyager, like, I mean, Voyager or whatever it was, like, that's technology at supposedly a godlike level. But did they destroy all the humans, or was there a species that helped evolve that, and then they went on their way?
They explained what Voyager was that the Voyager probe eventually drifted to a planet where the life on that planet was a machine-based life form.
Right, but was it created by humans?
No, it was a machine-based life form.
Okay.
And they took Voyager and evolved Voyager and made Voyager a living thing, and then sent it home.
Right.
And supposedly in the course of its journey, Voyager got bigger and bigger and more powerful, and it wasn't even hostile per se. It was just absorbing data.
I think what Captain Palpatine is trying to say is that machine-based life form had to come from somewhere. Machines don't grow.
Well, no,
it had to come from somewhere. So
no, in the context of this story, there was no life form that made them.
It was never explained.
No, they said the life form was a machine-based life form.
Yeah, from where?
No, they don't insinuate.
That's the whole
they don't
point.
insinuate an explanation that it was created by somebody else. They don't do that.
Machines don't grow, so it had to be created by somebody.
Well,
if it's left,
there are stories where they do say that kind of life evolves on a planet, just like organic life evolves on a planet.
Yeah,
that's what they say.
Ain't buying it, but it's fantasy, so whatever.
Yeah.
But
then the episode ends with Kirk giving a great compliment to Spock.
Yeah, he says, "Spock, you'd have made a fantastic computer."
Spock was happy with it.
Spock's cool with it. Spock's like, "Thank you." Spock's totally missing the dig on that one.
Yep. Yep.
But Return of the Archons.
I will tell you, I learned a lot in this episode, like I always do. Yeah, I had no idea who the Archons were. This whole time.
Me either.
It's the way the episode's written. If you don't catch a lot
at the beginning,
if you don't, well, not even the beginning. The beginning, there's.
Well, I want to. Yeah, no, I agree. But remember, when we used to watch these reruns, they didn't. I don't always believe that they always started where they were supposed to start. I think if they had to.
They were trimmed. Yeah, they were trimmed.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we might have missed important information at the start.
Exactly.
But in this episode, all the little side conversations, they don't pull back and give you grand supposition. The little side conversations give you the real details of the story.
Yeah.
And if you glaze over that,
and that's the beauty of the writing. It's not something that you can just. It's not formulaic. So if you miss something, you miss something crucial. You missed a piece of the puzzle that's crucial to the story.
Well, we had to rewind a couple of areas and just go over it again because,
And we are true Star Trek connoisseurs.
Right.
We missed some of it.
Yeah. We're sitting at the table with all the spoons and forks and napkins and even we had to rewind. So
So some of you plebeians are just gonna miss it.
Oh, there you go.
All right. Return of the Archons.
If you think Captain Daystrom's talking to you, feel free to rise up in the comments and take him down.
Remember, I got a phaser waiting on you.
Drive him out of the kingdom or something.
I'm on the Tracy team. I ain't going down like that.
So, yeah, another episode in the bag. Return of the Archons.
It's a better episode than you really thought.
Well, yeah, that's why we started doing this. We're revisiting this series from our childhood, and we're seeing things we didn't see. We're paying attention. We're probably getting to the meat of it in a way we never could have when we were younger.
Yeah, the one thing that I had hoped for is that I would. It's strange. I'm very binary about like there's episodes I love, and then there's everything else. Like, I'm not like that's kind of okay. It's like, because of the way that there's the availability of these, that you can just kind of pick and choose what you want to watch now. Before, when you were a kid, it came on when it came on, and you got the episode that you got, and you're either going to watch that or watch nothing else.
And they showed certain ones more than others.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's interesting, of the 80 episodes that were there, and I don't know if there's a way of checking it, but I'm wondering if like probably 10, 15, 20 of the episodes count for 95% of the views.
Probably.
Yeah.
Some episodes are played much more and are liked, like we have our top 10,
Right.
get far more airtime. But those episodes that we didn't comprehend or didn't understand as young people, didn't like nearly as much, are still really good episodes.
Well,
Absolutely.
Either to the canon,
Right.
or to the overall story matrix.
yeah, and I think we'll find out the ones that we kind of glazed over as kids were more cerebral, and
Like I'm Mud.
no, not like I'm.
Yes.
No, I'm a well-written episode. I'm not going to say it's not, but that's not what I'm talking about.
Yes, it is.
No.
There's some things there's some, Mud to me is like Mona Lisa. You don't really understand why it's special, but it is.
It is.
It is. Like Mud is special. It and we talked a little bit about it. I think it is because as much as people maybe, I know I always tried to like imagine myself as Kirk. At the end of the day, you're probably closer to Mud than you are to Kirk. You're not top of your class in the academy. Everything.
So
You're more like a guy who's
trying to make it through in a world controlled by the Federation.
Yeah, it's
I'm breaking whatever rules I can to get by. That's Mud. But that's Mud. Mud's like, look, the Federation, you guys are clamping down on everything. I'm trying to make a not necessarily legal living here in the land of the Federation.
I'm going to end this episode before you make an argument for Mud being a hero of some sort. That's what I'm going to
He
do.
is. He's a hero of the downtrodden.
Where's
the
your
everyday man.
Where's your mute button?
Yeah.
This has been Return of the Archons. Not Harry Mudd is a hero.
Transport us out.
Another Men on Trek episode in the bag. Click like and subscribe, and tell Daystrom he's wrong in the comments.
I am great.
No,
You are great.
No.
You're a mighty starship. Don't forget the festival.